morning, everyone.
Oh, good morning, everybody.
So the last time we did a devotional, I ended it off by saying, yay, we're halfway through lockdown. And then a couple days later, they extended the lockdown. So it does seem to be like it's going on a little bit long now. And if you're anything like me, you've noticed that in the news reports that are happening around us and like lots of articles on the internet, there's lots of bad news happening. There's lots of people that are prophets of doom and gloom and all the naysayers, and they're saying things like our education is in the pits and how the virus is going to get so much worse in the country and how the economy is going to be terrible after this. And there's lots and lots of negative news that seems to be out there. And yes, some of them may have a grain of truth to them, some of them may be somewhat based on fact, but we also need to remember that a lot of people like to sensationalize things, and so the bad news sells, and so that's what people like to focus on. But I believe that we as a church are called to focus not just on the positive side of things, but on the godly side of things. And I was reminded of the story in Numbers where Moses sent 12 spies to go into the land of Canaan to scope it out. It was the promised land for the Israelite people. And of the 12, 10 came back saying, yes, the land flows with milk and honey. It's an amazing land, but there's too many problems. There's too many obstacles to overcome. We will never be able to take it. And two of the spies, Joshua and Caleb, stood firm on the promise of God. And they said, no, God has promised that land to us, and we will take that land. We can take that land. And I think that's what we need to remember this morning is whose report are we believing? In a world of negativity, whose voice are we listening to?
Yeah, and actually brings me back to two specific words the Lord spoke to me about within the last 4 months. It was just before the end of the year last year. I was just praying into 2020 and asked the Lord to give me direction, to ask the Lord for what does He want me to do in 2020. And the first word came to me, and it's in Joshua chapter 1, and basically this says, be strong and courageous. And then just before the lockdown, I was jogging on the beach, and I was just listening to music, and suddenly the voice of the Lord came to me and asked me, whose voice are you listening to? And both these occasions, when the Lord spoke to me clearly, it wasn't a particular situation in my life where I could say, listen, yeah, okay, you know, that this applies to that particular situation. It was more of a situation to say, okay, Lord, let me wait and see what you are telling me. And so when it boils down to is whose voice are we listening to? And like Charlie was saying, whose report are we listening to? We need to hold on to fast to what the Bible tells us, because the Bible hasn't changed throughout generations. But the Bible has led many generations through difficult times. And it's through the Bible and through the truth that God speaks over our lives that people find hope and strength. And through that, God is pulling us through the situation that we are facing. So, yeah.
So the verse that Ricky was talking about earlier is in Joshua chapter 1. And it's from verse 6 down to verse 9. It says, be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to their ancestors to give them. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. Keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. So in this time of lockdown and extended lockdown and this time of uncertainty about the future, we're not guaranteed that we won't go through hard times, but we are guaranteed that we will never be forsaken and that God will always be with us. And so I would like to encourage you to go and read Psalm 91 today and every day thereafter, and stand firm on the promises that God has spoken over our lives. And remember, in all the reports, there's really only one voice we should be listening to and speaking that truth over our lives. So Amen. God bless all of you, and have a wonderful day, and God bless you for the lockdown further.